He didn't get invited to the combine. I mean, he wasn't going to measure up particularly good on anything. So once he's not invited to the combine, I thought that he wouldn't get drafted. I did think he would get into camp. And once he got into camp, I thought he'd be extremely hard to get rid of.
In 2004, Welker signed with the San Diego Chargers as an undrafted free agent. Being a training camp long shot kept him away from the real football action, so Welker was forced to get creative.
I wasn't hardly getting any reps. And I was like, I don't mind looking like I'll be that guy. That's fine. So I go in, hear the call, and then I'd go back there 20 yards and I'd run the route, looking like an idiot. But I was like, whatever can help me in making this football team, I'm gonna do it.
Welker's plan paid off. His solo routes turned into training camp reps,
And Breeze looking for a touchdown.
which led to preseason touchdowns,
Touchdown, Wes Welker.
both receiving and returning.
Here's Wes Welker on the punt return on 4th down. Welker's in a foot race for the end zone, and the Chargers have scored.
I make the team, and I'm like fired up. I'm like, dude, I made the NFL team, and I'm returning kicks at Houston. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, I'm good. I come in there on Wednesday and they cut me. I was like, but I made the team, how can you just cut me when I made the team? And so, I was pretty pissed off at that point. Like, I had no idea, like, they could cut you from week to week. That's when Miami called and said they're going to pay me like $1,000 extra a month to be on their practice squad. I was like, sold. Next thing you know, I'm up on the active roster.
There's no quit in that guy, Wesley Welker. He's not big enough, he's not strong enough, he's not fast enough, but he continues to astound.
Nice job. Attaboy, Wes.
I had the great fortune of being around him in Miami.
Attaboy. Nice job in the happy.
What was amazing about him was just the relentless nature that he practiced with and played with.
If you ever watch Wes Welker play football and you're a coach, man, he is a dream come true because that kid runs hard.
Wes Welker did that every minute of every day. I can remember being in Miami with him and we went to play New England.
Magnificent fall afternoon in New England.
Lindo Mare was our kicker. Goes out and basically like pops his calf in pregame.
Lindo Mare has a bad calf, and Wes Welker, emergency kickoff man.
I didn't want to be a typical kicker, so after I kicked off, like, I'm covering.
Wes Welker, a rookie, normally the kick return guy.
Best kick cover player on the Dolphin roster.
Welker's versatility that day: kicking off, converting an extra point,
Welker's kick is up and it is good.
kicking a field goal,
And Wes Welker hits his first National Football League field goal.
returning kickoffs and punts.
Welker at the goal line.
Was the first combination of its kind in NFL history. It didn't go unnoticed.
Wes was a tough guy to handle. We played against him several times, and it was always a problem. I had a lot of respect for Wes, in particular playing against him.
Awesome punt return by Wes Welker. He had to make one move, and he was off to the races.
When you see a guy a couple times a year and he keeps, tearing apart your team, his contract came up and we were like, well, that's the guy we want.
When I first started out, I just thought I was going to be a special teams guy. I don't know, I never really thought I was going to have the skill set to be able to be a receiver in the NFL. So and I was cool with that.
But in 2005, Dolphins coach Nick Saban promoted his shifty, fearless returner to receiver.
Wes was a get-open type of guy. Between 5 and 10 yards, he's impossible to stop. You either go right or you go left, and the quarterback pretty much reads where he goes.
The option route was a perfect fit for Wes Welker. He read the coverage, decided his route, and caught the ball. Then he crafted it into a 12-year career.
I'll think, like, what could I have made that route look like to make them think it was another route? Every single night, I had mental images going through my head when I'd sleep at night and couldn't sleep because of it, because I couldn't wait till tomorrow to try it.
Welker, a great catch in between a pair of defenders.
Tell the Red Raiders to do it right there, baby.
Welker finished 2006 as Miami's leading receiver. And when Saban left for Alabama following the season, the former Cleveland Browns assistant got a call from his former boss.
Nick saw him every day on the practice field and at every game, so I asked him about Wes on and off the field. The things that Nick said about Wes were very instrumental in our pursuit of, Wes with the Patriots.
Someone finally wanted me. It was a great feeling because it was really one of the first times it really happened in my career.
We saw his skills, we saw his talent, so we designed a lot of things for him.
He's doing pretty good with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Really is.
Without his skill set, without his toughness, without his ability to get open inside, those things, I don't know if those things ever come about.
That's the way to make a play, Wes. That's the way to step up and make one. Let's go.
He had so many physical skills. Obviously he could run. He had incredible quickness. He had great hands. Wes is great, very, very explosive player. It's unbelievable.
We were excited about what we were going to be able to do. Great first drive, remember it like it was yesterday. He made an impact right from the get-go in the season.
Welker is in the left side slot. Brady calling signals, in motion now. Stopping is Welker, back to throw. Brady fires to Welker. He's got it inside the 5, and he's in. Touchdown. Tom Brady to Wes Welker. First touchdown of the season, scored on the first possession of the season.
We killed him! We killed him! Let's go! We killed him! All day!
the first game, we saw his ability to get open, his quickness, his suddenness after the catch.
And it was his short man, got it to Welker. Welker with a few yards after the catch. Nice game.
You could definitely see that he was going to be a problem to tackle because of his quickness and his run skills.
He picked up the system really quick. There was an instant connection with Tom, and you could tell that right away.
What's up, baby?
Let's come back to that smash. I'll run a good route and be wide open.
Okay.
We're getting one on that, right?
There was instant chemistry. You know, he had physical skills, but he was so intelligent on the field. He had great recall. I mean, you could talk about things in practice. They'd come up in the game. He'd do them exactly the way you wanted him to.
The quarterback and receiver spoke the same language and worked to get better on and off the field.
I think some of the really cool things we did was watching, Montana and Rice, their one-on-ones in San Francisco.
59 Razor! 49
He would watch Montana and study his throwing motion and everything. I'm watching Rice on, how he ran this route, how he ran that route, and we'd watch it together. Okay, we could use this against this coverage in this game or whatever, and just constantly having those conversations over and over and over again.
And that's what makes a great receiver is when the quarterback communicates something, they take in the information, they're able to apply it. Wes could do that as well as anybody.
Brady, back to throw. Fires open, caught, touchdown, Wes Welker!
The receiving skills that he has, they didn't just come overnight. He had them in college. I guess a lot of people didn't think he'd get it done because of his size.
In his first season in New England, Brady to Welker became a familiar refrain. His 112 catches were the most in the NFL, an unheard of total for a slot receiver.
Back then, it was easy. They put their base defense in there, and now you got linebacker on a slot receiver, and it's a matchup nightmare. So we're able to, hit seams, out routes, whatever, basically whatever we wanted to do.
Wes Welker open, and he's getting the ball, and he knows what to do with it.
Kind of came into our own as an offense. We started understanding how to really attack defenses and really how to put pressure on them.
It made defenses change how they played us and having to study us, and now the game has completely changed.
It was a record-setting season in New England. Welker set a new team mark for receptions. Tom Brady and Randy Moss broke NFL touchdown records. And the Patriots, the highest-scoring team in league history, won an unprecedented 18 consecutive games. They would attempt to win their 19th in Super Bowl 42.
Brady fires a bullet. It's caught by Welker at the 21-yard line. What a terrific catch.
Aim for like 13 or 14, like missile, and just get rolling up the field.
Just one of those games, you know, where you feel like, you know, we're going to win. We always find a way to win.
Welker's 11 catches against the Giants tied the Super Bowl record. It wasn't enough to complete the perfect season.
You look back and you think every year is going to be like that, you know, and it just isn't. It's hard to, you know, recreate, you know, something special like that.
You know,
coming up,
I'm gonna go out there and just put your best foot forward.
Open mouth, insert foot.
Look, I am not going down that road. I'm not going down that road.
So Welker, no go. He's out. Okay. He went through warm-ups and he said didn't feel good. So. Okay.
In a preseason game against Philly, I was in playing, and Julian returns a punt.
The 7th-round pick, Julian Edelman, number 11. Keep an eye on him.
And, you know, takes it to the house.
30, 35-yard line, 40, 45-yard line. He's going to take it the distance. Julian Edelman, the Patriots' 7th-round rookie draft pick.
You know, of course, Coach Belichick comes up to me. He says, you know, it's like, you heard of Wally Pipp?
Wally what? Wally Pipp. You never heard of him? Well, he played first base before Lou Gehrig.
Oh, okay.
Then Lou Gehrig started like whatever it was, 23,000 straight games.
Right. Yeah. The little man.
That might be the punt return story.
No doubt. Hey, you can have it, man.
Oh, there you go. Way to compete.
Like
Way to compete.
That's his way of doing things. Needling and needling and needling. And I guess he always felt like I always performed my best when my back was against the wall. And I think that was kind of one of the first times of like really you know, trying to get at me a little bit.
Wes Welker responded to the challenge by recording the best receiving season in New England Patriots history. In just 14 games, he caught 123 passes.
He demonstrated that, you know what, if you're a smaller, quicker receiver, you can still be at the eye of the storm. You can still be the guy you're sitting there talking about having to defend, you know, on every play. Because if you didn't stop him, he's going to catch 13 passes.
Talk about a Wes Welker show.
He had so much confidence in himself. You looked in the huddle and you knew that he was ready to get the job done. And that's why he got so many looks.
He's a great player, isn't he?
Oh, is he ever? You can see that he just loves the game as well.
Let's keep the pressure on him. Keep the pressure on him. Let's go. Be physical, baby. Be physical. Let's bring it. Let's bring it.
I feel like I was really at the height of my game there during that 09 season. There was a lot of games where it's like, I got thrown to like 11 times and I had 11 catches.
Who is that guy, Wes Welker? He's a guy who catches about 10 balls a game. What a weapon in Welker.
You know, he brought it every single day. He had the heart of a lion in a body that was, you know, 190 pounds.
That screen pass that you held on to. Somebody missed a block and you got cream. God bless you. Yeah, it's fun watching you play football.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
He was a very tough football player. When you're catching the ball in between the numbers on the inside of the defense, you know, you're going to get hit. You know, he got hit quite a bit, hung onto the ball, broke tackles. The toughness, the ability to absorb a hit is something that really is part of why he was able to be that successful.
Welker's physical toughness was never in doubt. His mental toughness was about to be tested. A torn ACL in the final week of the season cost Welker the 2009 playoffs. In 2010, his mouth nearly cost him another postseason.
It's a playoff atmosphere, and you can't just stick your toe in the water, you know. You got to jump right in.
In the days leading up to New England's playoff game against the Jets, a story broke about Rex Ryan's alleged foot fetish. It was all the prankster needed.
Well, I think we've had some younger players really step up this year, and
Wes had called Dad and told him that he was going to do it, and so I was like, no, he will not. Surely not.
Everybody's putting their best foot forward and going out there.
I remember that, but I am not going down that road. I'm not going down that road.
really just us going out there and being good little foot soldiers and make
I guess I just kind of got tired of like him being the guy that talked trash the whole time.
You know, especially, you know, you got your foot up in the air and
so I was like, okay, all right, fine, I'm going to do it.
You definitely have to be on your toes and make
Wes always brought a lot of life to things, and he had a great personality, always keeping things light for everybody.
He's another guy who's great feet and can really move around and do some great things out there.
You know, who cares if it got him in trouble? No one really gives a about that.
Welker's mouth landed him in the doghouse. He was benched for the opening series of what ended in a loss to Rex Ryan's Jets. Another body part troubled Welker in 2011, as he was coming off a season in which he led the league in drops.
Started having a lot of drops and stuff because mentally and physically just wasn't there. You know, coach was on me quite a bit about that, and so you know, it constantly became like catch the ball with your hands, catch the ball with your hands, catch the ball with your hands, and to a point where that's all I was thinking about.
I feel so good, man. Huh? I feel so good.
So do I. I'm open on every play.
I know you are. I know you are. I know you are.
Clock running. Brady brings them out. 2nd down and 11 for the Patriots. Brady calling signals, takes the snap. Has protection. Goes to the left with it. It is cold drop.
That was an incredibly tough catch to make. You know, it was a seam ball, and those things happen. But I know this. That's not why we lost the game.
And so the Giants celebrate, and the Patriots are devastated.
Wes was running down the field, and you know, Wes went up to try to make it as he always does, and we just, you know, couldn't connect. So, you know, I love that guy. He made so many great catches. I mean, I certainly don't think about any ones that he dropped. I mean, he caught so many important ones.
Play I've made 1,000 times in practice and everything else, and you know, comes to the biggest moment of my life, and you know, don't come up with it, and you know, it's discouraging.
I mean, I can't say I never think about it. Of course I do. You know, you think about you're that close, and it was in my hands, and you know, and I didn't make the play. It was a battle to get over for a long time.
Welker's second Super Bowl loss ended a season that had been marred by an unresolved contract situation. Throughout 2011, he never received the extension he felt he had earned. Instead, in 2012, he was designated as the Patriots franchise player, granting Welker a 6th year in New England with no guarantee he'd see a 7th.
I think the whole contract thing kind of just, you know, it just kind of like upset me.
After the 2012 season, New England's franchise leader in receptions was offered a 2-year contract to remain a Patriot. Welker secured a better offer from Denver and brought it back to New England.
I was just trying to see if they would come up at all. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, we've kind of moved on. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Guess I'm going to Denver.